How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. So today, behind me, I have a Midea U-shape window AC, which you may know as a pretty popular unit at the moment. Not for a very good reason either. So basically, this unit just got recalled, apparently for mold issues. I guess it's common to grow mold in this thing, or inside where the blower is, it grows mold or mildew. Which, yeah, that's not a very good thing to be breathing in at all times. So in today's video, I am here to show you guys how to properly clean this unit. Because the videos I've seen online, there is one where they had to like bend this metal grill out of shape inside of here and like use a Q-tip one by one, and it's just no. So I'm going to show you guys how to properly disassemble this unit, take it apart, clean it, and put it back together, hopefully without damaging anything. So basically, if you guys want to prevent all this from happening in the first place, I recommend to just keep this thing at a set speed. So keep it on like medium fan speed or low or high or whatever it is. As long as you guys keep it on a set fan speed, you guys shouldn't really have this problem. Actually, ever since I've cleaned it, I haven't had a problem with it. And that's because I have a schedule set. So if you guys look on the app here, there's an option right here for schedules. You can see what I have here. So on my unit, I have it set to cool for most of the day, except for 4 to 8 p.m. So during the day, while I'm gone, I just have this thing set to fan mode because I'm working during this time anyway. So for about 4 hours, this thing is purely in fan mode, running at medium speed. And this happens every day. So I still have this thing set to normal, so after it's done cooling, it'll way lower down the fan speed. But then every day, in the middle of the day, while I'm gone, while I'm at work, it'll set a consistent fan speed at medium, and it'll just run the fan, nothing else. And I'm hoping by doing that, it'll clean out all the mold, or it'll help prevent the mold, which obviously it's worked. I haven't seen any mold buildup in this thing, but we'll take a look at that. I've been doing this for about a year now. I think I've had this thing for about a year since I last cleaned it. I'm gonna take this thing apart today. I'm gonna see if there's any mold built up in here. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so just real quick before I get into this, I also wanted to mention one other thing I do to this to keep it running good. If you come around to the back here, you can see I have a little piece of paper towel right here. As you can see, I needed to replace mine anyway. But yeah, I have a little piece of paper towel here, and it dangles out. And what this does is it basically, you kind of shove it all the way down to the bottom there, and then have it kind of drip over the edge. So it kind of wicks the water from inside, pulls it all the way down, and drips it out. So basically this makes it so you don't need to drill a hole on the bottom, which people say to do, some people say to don't. I don't agree, I don't think you should. But this helps you don't have to do that, and it also keeps the water in there, but it only drips it out when it's not in use. So it'll slowly drip it out, so it doesn't leave water sitting on the bottom like that. So yeah, that's just one thing I wanted to mention before I get into this. Some people had questions about how to do this, but that's basically all it is. That's all it means. So yeah, anyway, let's get into the teardown on this thing. Alright, so here we are. It's a new day here with the Midea, the U-shape. So I threw away the little paper towel on the back. But yeah, that does help. It helps drain out the water in the back. Let's start getting this thing apart, and we'll see how dirty this thing is. We'll see if the tricks I gave you in the beginning of the video helped my unit at all. Alright, so to start off, we're going to take this front cover off. And yeah, you can see I haven't cleaned my filter in a little bit, so it's a little, just a little dusty. Okay, so to get this little thing off, you just gotta kind of pull up on it while it's out. It just kind of pops right off just like that. So now there's going to be a couple of screws that you have to take out. So it's going to be one right down here, and right here. They're all Phillips head. So take your Phillips head screwdriver. We're going to get these out of here. There's going to be like a little washer on each of these screws too. Be sure to keep that on there. Don't lose those. Okay, and there's also going to be this little Wi-Fi adapter here. We're going to get this out. It should just kind of pop out of here. There it goes. And then just a USB, so we're just going to unplug it. Just like that. Okay, so now here comes the tricky part. You're going to want to kind of push in on the side here, because there's little clips holding this in on like this whole outer edge. So you're going to want to push on this front part here. You're going to push in. You're going to want to push in pretty hard to get this out. So, okay, before we do this though, I'm actually going to get this little screw out. There's one right here on the side. I'm going to unscrew that. There's also one on the other side in the same spot, so I'm going to unscrew both of those real quick. Okay, there we go. Now, there it goes. Boom. So once you get one side off, should be a little easier to get the rest of this off. If you have a little plastic pry tool, that could help a little bit too. go. There it goes. Alright. Okay, so it looks like on mine, this part here isn't coming off, so I'm gonna have to use my pry tool here. See if I can get it off of here. There it goes. There it goes. Now be careful when pulling this off. You can see we got some things connected to the front here. See right here we have this little connector. Push in the sides right here and then release this little clip on top. Kind of push down on this and the sides and then pull on this cable. It'll come right off. And then we also got this little one right down here. You just kind of push down on the top clip right here. Comes right off. Alright, and same with this one right over here. Boom. Alright. Now there's one on the other side as well. Alright, so there's another little one on this side right here. This one, there's a little tiny little clip right there. Push down on that and pull. Comes right off. And now, should be able to get this whole panel off of here. Alright, and here's the inside. You can see all the clips all along there. That's what hold this thing on. Then this is a little temperature sensor here. I just kept this on mine. And yeah, just set this somewhere to the side. And just like that, we have access to the inside of our air conditioner right here. Okay, just so you guys can see a little better, here's the inside. This is on my phone right now, by the way, so sorry if it's a little worse quality. But there's the inside of our unit. Hopefully yours isn't too dusty. But anyway, to get into this thing a little further, there's going to be a screw right here, and yeah, if you didn't take out these ones before, there's going to be one right here, and then there's going to be one right here on this side. So once you get all those out, this whole rear panel should come apart as well. So let me get those out real quick and I'll be right back. Alright, so now with those screws out, this rear panel should come off. Okay, so now once you're in here, there's a couple more screws you got to take out. So there's going to be one here, maybe one right there, and then on the other side, one right there, and it looks like one right there. And then on the back side right here, you're gonna have one right there, and you might have one more right there and there on yours as well. I don't know if I didn't put them in or something. As I said before, I already took this apart, but either way, look for screws behind here as well. I only have one because this one's a bit of a pain to get to unless you have a small screwdriver, which I must have not at the time. But I'm gonna go look for a smaller screwdriver and get that one out in the back, and also the ones I mentioned before. And I'll see you guys back in a second. Okay, and there we go. So now all the screws are out. There's one more thing we're gonna do on the other side though. So right here, there's a little white box, and it's held on by a couple of tabs. So I'm gonna get these off. There we go. And then you can see inside of here, there's a couple of wires. I'm just gonna disconnect them. There we go. Okay, that one's a little bit stubborn. Okay, so now the next step is another pretty difficult one because it involves plastic tabs, of course. Alright, so if we look, there's going to be a plastic tab right there, one right there, one over here on this side on the top. There's going to be another one right here, and one right below it, and then one way on the bottom down here as well. And that's all of them that I see, but if you see any other tabs that look just like that, I'm going to show you guys what to do here. Alright guys, so I forgot to mention this in the video, but I'm actually going to be taking out this little white box that the wires were sitting in. It'll give us a little easier access to take out the entire shell that the fan sits around. But also, this gives you access to another screw that we missed that holds on that shell, which is kind of sitting behind that little white box. You want to take the one little screw for the white box, take that off. The whole thing will come out, and then right behind there's another screw for the shell that sits around the fan. Alright, that's really it. I just wanted to mention this real quick. Back to the main video. Alright, since I'm already on this side, I'm just going to start on this side. So I'm going to try using this plastic pry tool. You're just going to want to push it inward just a little bit like that. I'm going to start with these top ones, actually. So basically what I want to do here is kind of push this tab down. And at the same time, I want to push out. I want to push towards the outside of the unit. So push down on the tab and then push outward. There we go. There's that one. Alright, do the same thing on the other side. There we go. That side's out. Just barely though. Now we got 2 more tabs right here on this side as well. You want to push forward like this. I'm going to use my pry tool. Pry this out. There we go. See, the other one on top will latch back on. So you kind of got to go back and forth with these. Like you'll get one off and then the other one on top will latch back on. There we go. Now it's coming apart. Okay, now we got one more on the bottom right down here. And there it goes. Boom. So now we can kind of pull this apart and get this blower fan right out of here. Be careful. Don't want to damage anything. This wire kind of routes down below here. Pull that right out. And there is our fan. Alright, so here's the inside without the fan. These little clips come right off. Then you can get this whole piece off of here as well. There we go. This whole piece comes out. You can clean this as well. And there we go. There's the entire inside of the U-shape AC. So I'll get right back to you guys once I start cleaning all this stuff. I'll show you guys what to use to clean it. And yeah, I'll be right back with you in a second. Alright guys, I'm back with more voiceovers here. So this is going to be the cleaning portion of the video. I'm just going to have some clips of me cleaning the AC in the background. So basically, I do put a plastic bag over the top of the front of the AC. I've always done this. I mean, I know the back is completely waterproof because it's supposed to be out in the rain. But the front, I'm not really sure. I covered up just to be safe with any AC I clean. But anyway, I'm going to start with the outside here. For the outside part of the unit, I just take a hose to it. I have an attachment on my hose that really increases the water pressure, so that helps a lot to blast out any like debris. Also, while you're cleaning, kind of tip it on its side occasionally and just let the water run out. Maybe spray some water in there while it's tipped on its side. Just as a note, if you do flip it on its side or upside down or whatever you want to do, don't turn the unit on for like 24 hours after you do this. It's not good to run these AC units after it's been tilted on its side or upside down or whatever. So just wait 24 hours if you do tilt it on its side. But yeah, just got to put that out there real quick. So also for the outside, I use a little bit of dish soap and a little scrubbing tool and just kind of scrubbed around. I also got a sponge and kind of cleaned the bottom a little bit. If you can find like a good like cleaner that works on metal or whatever, you can kind of spray some on the bottom and just use like a sponge and just scrub away all that dirt. Now, as you guys can see, I don't have much rust at all on my unit, and I think that's because of the paper towel that I shoved in the back. It kind of wicks all the water out. Otherwise, all that water would have pooled there for all that time and just caused rust and nastiness. So yeah, just grab some dish soap or whatever cleaner you have and just get like a little sponge or scrub tool and just kind of scrub around. Get the bottom, get the fan blades. Also spray through the coil in the back. You just want to loosen up any dirt or dust or whatever that's kind of lodged in there. But yeah, I do it this way pretty much every time I clean it, and I have had no problems with it. You should get the outside portion of the unit looking pretty damn good by doing this. It's a lot easier on the outside unit because you can just spray it with a hose. It doesn't matter. But the inside unit is the part that's a little more tricky. So for the inside part of the unit, well, as you guys know, we kind of disassembled most of it. So I took the little back plate off that you've seen before, and I just took that out, sprayed it with a hose, kind of scrubbed it a little bit. That part was pretty easy. Also, you got the filter out, so you might as well clean that while you have it out. I kind of just sprayed mine with the hose, got all the dirt, dust off of there. Now the fan part is a little more tricky because you have the motor attached to there. So for me, I just kind of left it on there and I just sprayed away from the motor. So as long as, if you guys can grab like maybe like a bag or something and just cover the motor up and just kind of spray the actual fan blades themselves. And then I also used some soap and got a scrubby and just kind of scrubbed them real good. Got anything that could have been on there off. For mold, last time when I cleaned this, when it had mold on it, I think I used some vinegar. I think I used vinegar or something. I know vinegar can help get that off of there. I kind of sprayed a lot of vinegar on there and then just let it sit and then used a scrubby and just scrubbed it off and then blasted all that off with a hose after as well. This time though, as you guys can see, my tricks seem to be working because this fan blade was really clean. I'll have to do like the last time I cleaned it, which was almost a year ago now at this point, guys. So that was a long time ago, and I use this AC often too. So hey, obviously there's something to this because in that same amount of time before I did all this with the schedules, that thing was moldy as hell. But yeah, anyway, just grab like a little plastic bag, try to cover that motor up, and Just spray away from it too. Just get the blades, get the parts you need to spray. Do a lot of scrubbing on there, and yeah, it should come out looking like new again after this. So yeah, that's really all there is to cleaning this. I also, for the front, as for the very front panel with all the buttons and stuff on it, I didn't really rinse this off. I just kind of grabbed a paper towel, a damp paper towel, and just kind of scrubbed it down pretty good. Honestly, that's all I really needed to do. It wasn't too bad. Also, you're gonna want to clean like inside where the front coils are. You're gonna want to kind of clean in there a little bit too. Honestly, I just used some Q-tips and some paper towels again and just kind of scrubbed it down. Anywhere you see there's dirt, just kind of grab like a damp paper towel, maybe use a little bit of vinegar on it or something, and just kind of scrub it down, scrub it all the way. And yeah, guys, that's really all I have to say. This is more so a disassembly, like how to disassemble video, so I'm not going to go too far into depth on this, but you guys can get the point of how I cleaned it. Your unit should come out looking very clean. I let all the pieces dry separately for a couple hours as well. So I let the fan blades dry, I let the filter dry, I let all the pieces dry before I like put them back together. If they're still a little damp, just kind of use a paper towel and dry them off before putting them back together. And yeah, that's about all I have to say. Let's start putting this thing back together, and I'm gonna show you guys this unit still works just as good as new. All right, here it is all clean. I've let it dry for maybe an hour or two. So I think I'm ready to start putting it back together. Now, as for this, I'm not gonna be turning this unit on for a little bit after, because I had it on its side and I had it tilted over and stuff to dry out, and when you do that you don't want to really run this thing. But for now I'm going to put it back together because everything is mostly dry. I'm going to put this thing back on, which just kind of slides into the little holes. There it goes. So I'm going to start by slotting this plastic piece back in. I think that's a good place to start. Let's get it back in the those little tabs. There's little tabs just like this. Just like this one on each side. You really have to push it down to get those in. Alright, this is going to be the difficult one. This one was the difficult one last time I took it apart too, so I expect the same thing. There we go. Alright. So for this motor side goes on the left. Pop it back in. There we go. Slide it back in, and we're going to route this wire for it right through here. Just like that. Okay. And now we can kind of close this whole thing on it. Do the same on this side. There we go. Make sure all the clips are back in place. And just like that, our blower is back in there. Okay, so the next step is we're going to remount this little plastic piece right here. But before we do that though, we got to screw in this screw way at the bottom right here. There we go. Alright, as for this, it slots in just like that. You can see we just got to screw it in on the bottom. Now we can match up our cables and plug them back in. So it looks like this one goes to this. This one goes to this. You don't really hear that one click, but I can tell it's in there. Kind of shove them back in just like how they were. And we'll clip this back on. You gotta be sure you route this little wire around the outside of this so it doesn't get caught in between here. So again, you can see it's routed along the outside right here. So now it won't get caught when we're trying to clip this back on. And now let's do this. Clip back on, that ain't going nowhere. Okay, it looks like the next step now is we're gonna re-screw in all those screws that we took out to take this thing apart. So there's gonna be one up top. Let me zoom you guys out. Again, there's gonna be one up top, there's gonna be two on the left side, and I think 2 or 3 or 4 on the right side, something like that. But yeah, we're gonna put all those back in now. Okay, and just like that, that is all mounted back and get back together. Okay, with that out the way, now we can start putting on our plastic top panels again. Alright, so we're gonna start with the rear one. Alright, so it looks like it just slides right into here, which you might have to push these out. The little window stopper things. Now, should slide right in. Make sure you're not crushing any wires. Okay, and just to give you guys a closer look here what it's supposed to be like. There's going to be a screw down here. There's going to be one right here, which you line up right there. There's going to be one over here. And there's going to be one down here on the other side as well. So you're going to line all those up and screw those in. And now with that back on, that just leaves the front panel, which is the biggest part of this job. Well, not really, but it marks the end of the job. So again, on these, there's going to be a couple of cables you have to reconnect on the inside here. Which it appears they've all been pretty much color-coded, so should be no mixing any of these up. Alright, so now I got everything else reconnected. Now, just make sure you're not crushing any wires. You should be able to just pop this right back on. You'll hear it click into place. Alright, it's all clipped into place once again. So now, if you guys come back to the front, there should be 3 screws again. One down here, one right here, one right here. We'll put those back in. The final 2 steps, we gotta put the filter back in, which just slots right in, like that. There we go, it gets clipped into place. And, last but not least, there we go. And bam! There we go. Just like that. It's all put back together. Alright guys, so as I said before, I'm not going to be plugging this thing in just yet. I'm going to let it sit on here and dry for probably 24 hours. And also let it sit upright like this as well. So I'm going to let it sit for a little bit, and I'll come back to you guys once it's ready to go. Alright guys, here we are back with the Midea U-shape AC. So it is the next day now. So it's been 24 hours since you last seen this, and I brought it back inside, and I'm gonna give this thing a test and show you guys it still works perfectly fine. As you can see, it looks like we've never even been into this thing. You can pop this off. Take a look inside. Looks good in there. Hello. Okay, so let's plug this thing in. All right, here we go. There it goes. Let's kick on the AC. There it goes. Getting nice cold air out the front. Alright guys, so that's done. I'm going to let this run for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to go install it back in the window, and we'll conclude this video. Alright, so here it is, installed back in the window. This is not a tutorial on how to install this thing. There's plenty of YouTube videos on that already. But as you can see, it's up and running. Good as new. The inside is nice and clean, no mold or anything. And yeah, that is how you take this thing apart and clean it. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, definitely hit that like button. Also hit the giant red subscribe button. It'll help my channel out a lot. And yeah guys, if you follow the instructions I gave on how to keep this thing clean, by using the routines function and turning it on fan mode. I like to use medium, and just a couple hours a day, every single day of just running the fan on like medium setting for a couple hours. That'll help it a lot with the mold. As you guys can see, that was probably 7-8 months of not cleaning this thing, and there was not a single thing of mold in here. It was a little dusty, but no mold. If you guys seen the first time I went to clean this, I'll put a picture up on the screen. I probably already did before. But that thing was just caked in just disgustingness, and it smelled. Ever since doing the routine thing, I haven't had a single problem. So yeah guys, try it out for yourself, see if it helps you. It's definitely helped me. Without further ado, I'm gonna stop yapping, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Thanks for watching guys. Bye!